Good morning, Chavre. Today is the 4th of Iyar. We'll start with counting Sfiras HaOmer on page 137. Last night we counted 19. Let's say together, Hayoim, Tisha, Asar, Yoim, Shehem, Shnei Shavuos, Bechamisha, Yomim, Lo-Omer. Today is 19 days, which is 2 weeks and 5 days of the Omer. We are on page 109, in the middle of chapter 44, Perek Mem Daled in Tanya, top of page 109. Beautiful Tuesday morning. In today's lesson, in one's attempt at calling forth the love of Hashem at the highest level, don't be disillusioned by it seemingly being imaginary. Think it's too far off. It's too far abstract. On the contrary, this is your essence. You love Hashem because He's a part of you. One's intent in arousing deep love of Hashem should be to bring nachas to Hashem in one of two ways. One, in the soul's homecoming, like a long-lost prince returning to the palace. That includes when we do tshuva, so that's number one. Number two, God's wishful vision of creation, of creation's purpose being fulfilled. When you do your mission, you're bringing all of the reason why the world was created into fruition. Even if it appears to him at first that this is an illusion, how can we have love for Hashem that we don't see, feel, touch? How could we have that relationship? And thinking that he does whatever he does is nothing less than deluding himself as to his true spiritual status. I'll never be able to accomplish this. I'll never be able to properly love Hashem and fear Hashem and learn properly and do mitzvahs properly and be a good boy in school. How am I ever going to reach that level? Right? Lo yochosh. Don't be concerned. You just do your job. Because actually it's the absolute truth to become one with Hashem, even without doing your spiritual service. Why? Because Hashem is a part of you. So really, anytime you're good to yourself, you're being good to Hashem. But the benefit derived from the spiritual service, when you do your job, when you daven and you do your mitzvah, which you affect the love to come from hidden to revealed. You affect its emergence into the open, that he should translate that into action. And when his love is in a state of concealment, it can affect his actions. So that's why we have to bring the love out. Shu Esika Torah, what are the actions? Learning Torah, doing a mitzvah. Shalemi de Mekayim Ha'idei Zeh, which he studies and performs as a result of revealing the love of Hashem, which is in him. Why does he do this? To bring nachas to Hashem, like a son serves his father. The same way a son wants to bring nachas to the father, so too we want to bring Hashem nachas. Right, Levi and David? So since the revelation of this love leads, in fact, to increased performance, he should not be troubled by the fact that he may be deluding himself into thinking that he possesses this love, when actually he does possess this love, particularly since his neshama truly loves Hashem. You could say your physical body, your mind, your heart, you don't know if you're being real, you're being an imposter, you're faking it, you're not, this, that. But your spiritual neshama is your essence, and your essence loves Hashem because they're connected intrinsically. They're one. Concerning this, it was said, a good thought is joined by Hashem to a deed. So you put your mind to it and you say, I'm going to do this. And then Hashem helps you do this, providing it with wings to soar upwards, as explained earlier. A good thought is joined to a deed cannot simply mean that when one thinks about doing a good deed, that means he automatically does it. or if he thinks he can't do it, then he's unable to do it. And if he thinks it, then he's going to say, well, Hashem considers as if I did it. No, he actually has to do it. A good thought is considered by Hashem as an actual deed. Means what? To join to. It indicates that the deed was actually done, but that the thought and deed were unconnected. So Hashem in his goodness therefore connects the thought and the deed. You could have one intention and not do the mitzvah, or you could do the mitzvah without intention. Hashem will connect the two. So when a love of Hashem is revealed within one's heart, there's an actual connection between the thought and the deed. The revealed love adds vitality to the performance of the deed, the actual performance of the mitzvah. However, when love of Hashem is not revealed in one's heart and is only limited to one's mind, remember there's the Strait of Hormuz between your brain and your heart. It gets stuck sometimes in the neck. So we have to make sure it's unclogged. And how do we do that? The Rebbe explains in a mimer, we do that by using our voice. When we articulate, when we verbalize the words of the Torah and the davening that we say, we are allowing the flow, we are allowing the thoughts to flow to the heart and the emotions to flow to the brain. So when the love of Hashem is not revealed in one's heart and is limited to one's mind, it's considered to be a good thought that's not connected to a deed. Some people have all the right intentions, but if they don't translate that into an emotion, it's stuck. So when one understands something, that it has to be done, but he doesn't have a love for it, he's just doing it like, oh, okay, fine, I'll do it. Then the deed will be performed without a chayis, without the proper energy, and without the proper kavanah. It's therefore necessary for Hashem to connect the good thought with the deed, thereby ensuring that the good thought, which means the love and the fear of Hashem in his mind, will elevate the Torah learning and the mitzvahs which he does, which results from it to the world and level of a good thought. Let me just back this. Nachas ruachu, what's the nachas that Hashem gets? Mishal simchas hamelech ibnoi shabai la b'tzeisim in beis ha'asurim k'nis galil. Imagine you guys were stuck in some dungeon, God forbid, taken away, and then one day you're freed and you come home to your father, the king. So it's the joy of a king whose son returns to him after being liberated from captivity. Oh, the nachas. Oh, the feelings. You can hardly describe the feelings that the king would have. Right, Lar? It's just incredible. So when the soul, which is Hashem's child, is clothed in the body and the animal soul, it's in a state of captivity. It's like in Golos. And through Torah and mitzvahs, it's liberated from this captivity and is joined with Hashem. So every time you do a mitzvah, your soul is getting freed, and it causes Hashem tremendous joy, like the analogy of a mortal king. So that's as far as the king is concerned. Or the nachas that we're giving Hashem is giving him a place to be amongst us, the dwelling place that he strives for. So thus, the love is like a son who strives for the sake of his father. And the love can be revealed by continuously verbalizing through his voice to arouse the intention of his heart and mind. That's how he brings the thoughts to the emotions, by singing the davening and saying the words of Torah. There's a Lakel Baruch it says songs we say. Sometimes you could say something even though you're not singing it, and it's still a song to Hashem. Even in regards to the above mentioned love of the category of my soul, I desire you. And as we mentioned earlier, it's readily possible to bring the soul out of its concealment into the open and the love through constant practice with mouth and heart, so that one's heart should feel what his mouth is saying about Hashem being its true life. So it's practice. If you're davening every single day and you don't think about the words and you don't mean it and you're just doing it because Tati told me I have to do it, then it's just going to be very dry. But if you think about it every single day and try to incorporate a love and fear of Hashem, and the more you practice it and the more you say it and the more you mean it, it's going to be a beautiful thing. It's going to be loving Hashem. This is how we practice it. Even if you can't do it to the fullest extent, you don't know what to think, you don't know what to feel. If you can't bring the love into a revealed state in your heart, nevertheless, you can still learn Torah for the sake of Torah and do a mitzvah for the sake of doing a mitzvah. Machshava teva, HaKadosh Baruch Hu mitzarpa. You can still learn Torah and fulfill mitzvahs for their own sake through portraying the idea of this love in your mind. And a good thought is united with God. Basically, you're saying to yourself, I don't know how exactly to love Hashem, but in my mind, I'm going to do this mitzvah for the sake of Hashem. I'm going to learn Torah for the sake of Hashem, not for any other ulterior motive or because I'm being told what to do. Because I'm doing it for Hashem. It's therefore possible for his Torah mitzvahs to be elevated to the supernal spheres, just as if he had fulfilled them with a love revealed in his heart. So that's the starting point. So the takeaway is when you perform a mitzvah, your neshama is surfacing, and at this moment your neshama is leaving its entrapment, its slavery, if you will, within your material body, and it gets to soar up and bring Hashem tremendous nachas. Your soul is the king's beloved prince, so to speak, is being freed from its prison. Again, that gives Hashem tremendous nachas. And how do we do that? When we do a mitzvah, when we learn Torah, think that we're giving Hashem tremendous nachas, as if you would have tremendous delight from your child when they are freed and they're able to spend time with you. All right, that's it for today, folks. Have a wonderful day.